lipstick a bit while I give you guys a little bit of a life update. So I made a short and I shared it here, and I spoke about the passing of my dad. My dad passed away on March 15th, 2024. And it's been really difficult for my family, obviously. And most importantly, it honestly is the biggest loss that my family ever has gone through. So, and I don't even think that you could ever prepare yourself for losing a parent. I don't think that you're ever ready. Even if a parent, you knew that they were going to pass, or see they were terminally ill or something, it's just something that we all know is going to happen. We all eventually are going to leave this earth. But losing someone that close to you is just, I kind of described it as like you're heartbreaking, but you know that there's nothing that's going to fix that. So in this healing process, I know I'm never going to be the way I was before, but I know that I am just going to be different. My life is going to be very different existing on this earth without my dad in his physical form. Without getting into too much details, because my dad is my dad, but he's also and was also the husband of my mom for 53 years. He's the dad to my sisters. I have 4 of them. I have some sisters who are 16 to 20 years older than me. So they had my dad far before I had my dad. And he's a grandfather to my son and my nieces and nephew. So how the things I'm going to share are going to be, very respectful to them if they ever stumble across this, because this is a huge loss for my family. But I'm so grateful for my family, because we've been able to come together and support each other throughout this time. And I think it's important to not isolate yourself. It's so easy to isolate yourself. It's so easy to isolate yourself in grief, because you're just sad and you really feel like no one understands your experience. And honestly, my experience with the passing of my dad is different from other people's experience, because I found my dad. I was there at a different time with my dad throughout his transition, and the same way that is different from my other sisters who were there for different stages, not only in his transitioning but also in his life. So I realized that in mourning, we're all mourning the same person and might be mourning them differently. I'm also understanding that everybody mourns differently, and you cannot judge how people act in mourning and think, well, I wouldn't react that way, because everybody reacts and handles things so differently. So I've been giving myself and my loved ones a lot of grace, but I've been finding so much comfort in the signs that my dad has given me since his passing. I would honestly say that I have always been really intuitive, and in my life I've had dreams of loved ones like right after they passed, and they have given me signs that they're okay. I know some people can understand it, some people might not. I don't really even understand it. I don't want to think too deeply into it. But I'll say it brings me a lot of comfort. And after my dad passed, I had, I think, 2 dreams since he passed. And in both dreams, without speaking, he let me know that he was going to be okay. He's okay. And that I was going to be okay. And in everyday life, I see signs of my dad. And even before he passed, my dad played a huge role in my love of art, my love for food, and just so many wonderful things. He's influenced so much of who I am, and so much of me lives on, like so much of my dad lives on through me because of his deep influence in my life. And I think the best way to honor his legacy is to try to find ways to enjoy my life. And I am the mother of his grandson, so I have to show up and be a mom to him. And my dad loved my son so much, so I think that he wouldn't want me to self-destruct and not be able to show up for my son, because he loved my son. And I think that although my son and my dad had a really close relationship because they're just so similar. And we live with them. We live with my dad. He's young. He's only 7. And a lot of what he's going to remember of his dad is going to be the things that I pass on to him, from pictures to different activities. Like, there's things that I do with Jaden already because I've done with my parents and with my dad. So I just want to continue to honor his legacy by passing those things on and just not letting his legacy and his memory be lost to time. Because as time goes on, it's like becomes more permanent. Like, you look for this person, you realize you're not going to see the person physically anymore, and that's difficult. But so much of that person's energy and spirit and life lives on through the people whose lives they've touched when they were living. And I just think, I'm being completely transparent here. My relationship, I'm just checking on something. I'm getting messages. My relationship with my dad was not always the best. I think most people can say that relationships with your parents can be really conflicting. Even the parents who you might be closest with or you spent the most time with, you're always going to wonder and wish that things would have happened differently, or maybe they made different choices and supported you in a different way. But in my dad's passing, I found that all of the negative things I have not even cared to even think about. That, like, they don't matter. I feel so much so much more comfort in the positive memories, and those are the things that constantly replay in my head, and those are the things that bring me joy and that I laugh at, and makes me happy when I think about my dad. So I know I'm not the only one going through this in the world. Obviously, like I said, I have sisters who lost a dad in this time as well, but there's so many people, and I've had so many really wonderful comments from people who lost their loved ones or their dad or just like a close friend. And the comforting words that people have given me has meant the world. But also, I know that this is an experience that we all go through in this life, and we all have to, you just don't know what people are going through. So give people grace and be kind, and check on your people, check on your loved ones. Just don't think that you always have more time to like make things right or go and visit someone or give someone a call. Like, someone's on your mind, just send them a text. Even if you're in a pinch and you're like, I can't sit on the phone, just send them a text. Tell them that you love them and you're thinking of them, because we just never know when it's going to be our last time on this earth. But you don't want people to feel like, you would never want someone you love to not know that you were thinking of them and you care about them. I feel like, for me, I know that my dad knew, even in difficult moments, my dad knew that I loved him and I was there for him. And without like crying, because I don't want to cry at the moment. I have a few things that I need to do for the rest of the day. If this was like the last thing I was doing, I'll be breaking down in tears and crying on camera. Don't care. I've cried in the most random places, in front of people, in public, and I'm just like, whatever. I try not to be embarrassed by it. It's just an experience. It's a feeling. I let it go and I move on, because that's just how I'm coping right now. I might have a thought and it brings me to tears, and I'm in the middle of a conversation or cooking or talking to my son or even a freaking meeting, but it's just part of life. We give ourselves grace, and hopefully surround yourself with people who will also give you grace as well and be understanding of whatever this process and this transition for you, because it's a transition when you lose a parent. Just navigating who I am now going to become in the absence of my dad. I'm never going to be the same, and that is okay. And I hope that the version of me who I'm becoming is a lot smarter and stronger and wiser, and just filled with more love and gratitude for life. So yeah, just wanted to give a life update. I personally find when life is a little bit harder for me, I like to create creating is like an outlet for me. I don't know if you guys can see this wall right behind me, but the week after my dad passed, it was 2 weeks before we had his memorial service and a repast. And that time, I decided I was gonna paint my wall because I bought this new bed set. I was like, I know I'm gonna spend more time in my bed. I want a new bed set. This is from the Target DVF collection. I love it. So I bought that, and then I painted my wall. I went to the Home Depot that I used to go with him all the time, and I was like getting lost in there. I'm like, where's my dad? I want my dad to help me with this. I hate being in the store. But I'm not painting my wall. So I've been just creating. Creating is a really great outlet for me in difficult times. So you guys are going to see a lot of me, and it's not because I'm happier or I'm in a better space. But maybe I might be. Maybe I will be in a better space, but mainly because creating is a way to release sadness for me. It's a wonderful outlet. So yeah, you guys might be seeing more of me, and I'm okay with that. I love that. I love having positive outlets throughout difficult times, because there's some people who, you know, have different outlets that aren't as positive. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys are all doing well. Remember to give yourself grace. I know that I'm not the only one experiencing loss in any form. And just know that life has its challenges. Hopefully surround yourself with loved ones, people who can support you. But if you don't have that, therapy, church, journaling, just find ways to help yourself through it, because honestly, this too shall pass. All of these things pass, and over time, things are going to feel a little bit easier. So yeah, that's my next video.